All right. Beginner bookkeeping, part 2, income and totals. Again, I will be using my workbook to talk you through this. Share my screen. All right, so we just finished going over expenses, and with going over expenses, everything was in there on an individual basis. And let's recap just a little bit. When you are entering your expenses, that means each expense equals one receipt or one invoice. It's not each item. So if you go to the store and you buy a pack of pens and that's all that you buy, then on the bottom of that receipt, that total, you put that date, you put supplies, you put where you bought it at, and you put the total amount that you spent. If you go to a store and you buy 5,000 items, again, one entry, one date, one category, one place that you purchased it at, and the total amount that you spent. That is all that you need. Now, that being said, this section that we are doing now shows you where the totals would go. So if you have totals, then you are in this section, you would be able to right click and refresh. And then that is going to total all of the categories that you have entered. So all of the expenses that you've entered, that you've picked categories for, are now going to be totaled in this section, because the individual things don't matter in the grand scheme. You want what the totals are for the categories. In my workbook, you also need to make sure this lower pivot table is also refreshed so that you can see the totals correctly in my little green box down here, which is your little mini P&L. All right, so regardless of what type of business that you have, you need to enter your income. That needs to be your gross income. So if you are selling on eBay, then that will be the amount, the total amount collected by eBay. Yes, including the taxes that they collected from the seller, from the buyer. All right. During the year, we're not going to worry about what the taxes were that was collected. We're just going to take the gross number. We can always do the math for that later on if we need to, or at any point during the year that we need to, we can do the math. But we're going to use that gross number in this section, okay? Always remember, if you are selling on one of these platforms, that you need to grab your selling costs, and that would be the total number with including your shipping, your platform fees, your promoted listings, your advertising, everything that the platform charges you. So I will get into that in the next video, answering those specific questions. But for now, just remember that when you're entering your income, it will be your gross income before fees, not what they put in your bank account. Okay? Before fees, gross number. So whether that means that you're selling on a platform, whether that's a service, whether you're selling at a yard sale, whether you are collecting through PayPal or Stripe, it's still going to be the gross number received. On this sheet, this is called your total snapshots. This is like the heart of your business. This is where you see all of the things added together. So again, you have your expenses added together on the left. You have all of your income, and this supports up to 8 revenue streams. And then you have all of your mileage totaled on the right-hand side. If you scroll down a little bit, you see the green box. This is your mini P&L. If you are in my calls and I talk about the little green box, this is what I'm asking you for. It has the gross total of all of the income added together. It has the total of all of the expenses added together. It has the mileage calculation from all of your vehicles added together. It is subtracting out half of your meal expense because you only get 50%. And it's giving you a net based on that amount. If you're putting in, and you should be putting in your home office deductions throughout the year, then it's going to deduct it's going to deduct the proper percentage. Here, it's going to show you what that amount is. If you're already in the negative, then this amount here is not going to matter because you can't take it unless you are in the positive in this section. And then down below, it shows your monthly totals added together, and then your projected for the year. So your January, your February, and then what it is, what your running total is to that point, and then your projected gross for the year. So that is really all there is to it for income. Just remember to grab your gross number and then any expenses associated, any platform fees, any like PayPal fees, Stripe fees, anything like that is an expense that needs to be put into the expense section that we talked about in the previous video. And thank you for joining my Cheryl Talk. Have a great day.